Yes, ma'am.
All right, gonna go ahead and open the BZA meeting for November 18th, 2024. A quorum has been established. Need approval of the minutes for September 16th, 2024. Can I get a motion for that?
Yes, sir, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the minutes as written or as published.
Second?
Second.
Okay. So, the minutes for September 16th, 2024 have been approved as presented. So new business for tonight. Looks like it is 2024-25 BZA -601 Topeka. I'll hold a public hearing for that case. Again, as I stated, 2024-25 BZA-601 Topeka Avenue, wherein the applicant is seeking a variance from section 4.04.b of the adopted development regulations to allow a storage building in excess of 200 square feet in the R1-9 medium density single family residential district zoning district. Can I get a staff report on that, please?
Okay. As you said, this is a request to allow a storage building in excess of 250 square feet. The applicant is requesting the variance from section 4.04, as you said. The property is 1.8 acres in size. It's occupied by an existing single-family home. The proposed structure that he is putting up is a 16 by 20 and 2 stories. So it's totaling 640 square feet, or 320 per floor. He's indicated that the purpose of the structure is to be used as a she shed for his wife to do some art activities out there. There are no other existing detached accessory structures on the property. Section 4.04 does state that storage buildings are limited to 250 square feet for properties. And this is something that we've been talking about in the regulations. We don't have any way to differentiate different types of accessory buildings between storage buildings and garages or carports. And we found that we're starting to get more requests for accessory buildings that are something else besides a storage shed or a garage or carport. And so that is something that we are intending to, or the staff is intending to address with the next update to the development regulations. But as of now, the closest thing that we have that fits to this proposed use of a she shed, even though it's not really a storage building, is storage building. So that is kind of why we're here tonight. His property is not quite 2 acres. It's 1.8 acres in size. It's a little hard to see the property lines up here. Kind of highlights it, but it's a pretty large, deep property. If you had a chance to drive by the structure that he's putting up, it's in line with the residential neighborhood. It looks like a little house sitting on the property. It doesn't look like a typical shed or storage building that you might imagine. And get up to, yeah, his site plan. You can see it's just on the north side of the house in a clearing where he's putting it. And so aside from the size of it, it does comply with other regulations that we do have in place. And I would just note too that on a property of this size, he would be allowed to construct a detached garage of up to 900 square feet. So just to consider that as well. So if you have any questions for me, I can try and answer those for you. Otherwise, you can go through the conditions, which are listed out in your policy report.
On a detached garage, does that count if they make it a 2-story? Does the square footage?
Yes, so if there's 2 usable stories, we count all of that square footage. So if they just have kind of a loft, like in the rafters where you can stick stuff, we don't count that. But if there are actual steps and a floor, any of that floor area, we do count. And I did talk with the owner when he first came in about if he could just make it a garage so that the size would be allowed. A garage does require construction of a driveway leading to it, and so they didn't want to have to construct a driveway to this building, you know, that his wife was just going to be using for her art studio basically, and so that's why he decided to go the variance route instead, and in lieu of doing a driveway for something that they didn't intend to put a car into.
What happens if somebody gets a permit to do this and then they basically construct a separate living quarters, like put electricity in it, plumbing? Any problem with them doing that?
Yep, so a second detached living quarters on a single family property would be considered an accessory dwelling unit, which our regulations do allow, but you have to get a special use permit for that. So if they wanted to add, kitchen, bathroom, there are certain things in the building code that then push it into being a dwelling, then they would need to get a special use permit for an ADU.
But once they build something like that, the city's done, you're not.
Yeah, so so say they build this and it's just truly an art studio. If they were to go back and add plumbing for a kitchen and bathroom, those would require permits, and so then we would catch it. That's not to say people never do anything without a permit. Obviously, we know that that does happen, but I know, shocking. But when they would come in for a permit, assuming that, you know, most folks do come in for the permits they need, that's when we would catch that. Say, okay, you're turning this into another dwelling unit, that's fine, but here you're gonna need this permit for an ADU to count it as such.
So, and if I can just make sure I understand it correctly, so a detached garage up to 900 square feet is allowable.
Correct.
If they wish to have plumbing so that they can have a small bathroom or some bathroom in there, so for facilities like that, they can do that, but that would require an additional permit.
No, you could have a bathroom. I know a lot of folks do have a bathroom or, you know, a sink or something in a detached unit. Like I said, there are certain things in the building code that do qualify something as a dwelling unit. And that would include, you know, like a kitchen, you know, full bathroom facilities, that type of thing. But no, just having like a utility sink or a toilet or something in a detached garage would not push it into that category.
So in this so-called she shed, they could have a bathroom as long as, but that'd be it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it then takes on a different character.
Correct. So they could put in a bathroom. If they're putting in a kitchen, then we're gonna have to have that conversation about being an accessory dwelling unit.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions, John?
No, thank you.
Okay, we'll go ahead and open this to the public hearing.
They're so quiet.
I know. Since we have nobody, I will be closing the public hearing. Is there anything else that, again, generally want to discuss? Questions? Anything along those lines? If not,
I don't have any more.
we'll move forward. Okay. A request for a variance may be granted upon a finding of the board that all the following conditions have been met. The board shall make a determination on each condition and the finding shall be entered in the record. First, that the variance request arises from such a condition which is unique to the property in question and is not ordinarily found in the same zone or district, and is not created by an action or actions of the property owner or the applicant. Harworth?
I'd say yes.
Mr. Bates?
I disagree.
Disagree. And I agree with it. Okay. That the granting of the permit for The variance will not adversely affect the rights of adjacent property owners or residents. Mr. Bates?
Agree.
Arberth?
Agree.
I also. That the strict application of the provisions of the department regulations for which the variance is requested will constitute unnecessary hardships upon the property owner requesting the application.
Agree.
Agree.
Disagree.
That the variance desired will not adversely affect the public health, safety, morale, order, convenience, prosperity, or general welfare.
Agree. Agree.
Agree.
And see that the granting of the variance desired will not be opposed to the general spirit and intent of the development regulations.
Agree.
I agree as well.
Disagree.
Disagree. Okay, and in this case, it looks like it is denied, is that correct?
No, it's
No,
approved.
it's approved, yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
never can get that right. Alright, so, in granting of the variance, the board may impose such conditions, safeguards, and restrictions upon the premises benefited by the variance as may be necessary to reduce or minimize any potential injuries, effect of such variance upon the property and the neighborhood, and to carry out the general purpose and intent of these development regulations. And other than that, is there any other business?
No other business.
Okay.
No, sir.
I don't think we have anything for December, is there? So no December meeting.
Okay. In that case, I call for a motion to adjourn.
Sir, I make a motion to be adjourned.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
second that.
You second that. There we go. This is the meeting. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Jeez.
And thanks for telling us about that detached garage, the liability of that,
Yeah.
and describing it. I probably might have voted differently otherwise.
Good.
Yeah, thank you.
And then just to kind of let you guys know, they have made an offer to someone, for my replacement.